Demir. I'm exhausted by the time I get home from work. Do you have any tips for balancing work and personal time better?
So many people have this idea that their personal life should be lived in the evening after work. But then when you ask those people, how do you feel in the evening after work? They're like, well, I feel like a squeezed out rag. I'm like, okay, so this is interesting. Let's put this together. You get up, you go to work, you give your best energy to work, and then around 6 o'clock, you get home and you're a squeezed out rag, but then you're trying to live your life in this tier 3, tier 4 energy space. I just sort of did the math and I was like, what if I just work, do the bare minimum that I need in the evening to get the kids down and get the dishes done and everything. Then I'm in bed at 7, asleep by 8:30. And then I wake up at 5:30. And now I've just shifted those hours. So now if I'm going to read a book, instead of reading it in the evening, when frankly, I don't have the attention or willpower, concentration, I read it in the morning. And I'll tell you what, I read books just fine in the morning. I had this whole narrative about myself that I don't like reading books anymore. Not true. Love reading books in the morning. Carrie and I had this period where we're trying to do this Esther Perel conversation thing in the evening. And we were just looking at each other. I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. Is it because we don't want to talk to each other? No, we love talking to each other in the morning, right? So, I just was like, let me just shift my hours. And instead of trying to live my life in the dregs that are left over after I give myself to work, I'm just going to shift myself into the morning. And now I don't really start until 10. So that means that I've got 4 or 5 great hours where I'm connecting with my kids, reading, talking to Carrie. That's where I live my life. I live my personal life between the hours of 5 and 10 in the morning. That's really where my personal life happens.